All right, let's jump into our AI segment. Sam Altman graces us again with his presence here in South Korea. Pretty interesting. I find it pretty interesting for a couple of reasons. You know, you know, the AI boom, the AI craze is such an interesting phenomena for me because I don't generally see the benefit of having these billionaires come here and try to dictate what the future is going to be. And this is the technology, and you must invest in it. And the reason I say that, and I want you guys to follow me for a minute. The reason why I say that is because these billionaire CEOs, these guys will claim that anything and everything is the next big thing and demand billions of dollars of investments and money up front so that they can make that happen. So, this is an article from Reuters. South Korean president to meet with OpenAI CEO on Wednesday, and he did. But what's interesting about this for me? Well, let me rewind a little bit. You know, a few years ago, there was something that everyone was talking about that was going to be the next big thing, the thing that was going to take off, the thing that was going to change society as a whole. And all the billionaires, all the CEOs were jumping on it, specifically one CEO in particular. And that is Meta, Mark Zuckerberg. Meta platforms have spent $46 billion on the metaverse since 2021. $46 billion. That's an insane amount of money. 46 million or billion dollars. And let me just be clear. No one's going to invest in the metaverse. And what I mean by that, I mean normal consumers are not falling in line with Mark's, metaverse. And in the areas where the metaverse would be attractive, Mark is not interested. So gaming, the gaming culture, the gaming community, Mark's not interested in that. He wants this to be the tool to live your second life in. That is where these guys are. This article reads, Reality Labs, the division of Meta housing its metaverse technology, generated a total of $6.3 billion in revenue over the past 3 years. This resulted in operating loss of $40 billion. And management expects 2024's operating loss to exceed $16 billion. It lost last year. That's a phenomenally large bet on a future of computing. While Meta platforms detractors decry the amount of spending Mark Zuckerberg and his team are putting into developing virtual and augmented reality platforms, investors shouldn't overlook the fact that it's spent about twice as much on something else entirely over the past 3 years. That's something else? Stock buybacks. Why? Well, because we're investing in technology that no one wants. We're investing in technology that no one wants. So we need to protect our stock price. It is baffling. It is baffling the amount of money being spent on that. That was, and mind you, no one's even talking about the metaverse anymore. That's not even AI. That was the last big fad that Wall Street, in these hedge funds, that was their last big fad. And the only other person still spending money on that, the Apple Vision Pro. Apple spent billions of dollars making that. People gave it back because it's not interesting, because there's nothing to do on it, because there is no reality where that's going to be a replacement for actual quality of life, a replacement for phones. So you're trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist. And I want you to follow me because that is exactly where the conversation into AI links in. But before we get there, just stick with me with this, because listen to this. This is from IT Pro. We haven't seen the breakthrough moment that drives mass enterprise. Most of what's out now still feels like more of a demo and not a necessity, he explains. I think the bigger problem is the gap between ambition and infrastructure. AI native wearables need more than great optics. They need fast, reliable data sync, edge AI models that can run locally, battery efficiency, and a real privacy story. That's where Meta still feels early. He's being very nice there. Crucially, he adds that Meta's tools and platform aren't anywhere near enough to dislodge the killer apps of the interface layer. We have now handheld devices. Anything Meta expects to become essential needs to be seamless enough to replace our phones, our tablets, or add something compelling they can't do. Pretty good article. I really like. I read the whole thing. There's a lot of fluff. There's a lot of cope, but I think the final conclusion is true. If you can't actually add value to people's lives, what is the point in this technology? And so, what do I mean by that? Well, how does that relate to AI? How does that actually factor in to the billions and billions and billions of dollars being spent nearly by the big three companies? That's Amazon, that's Microsoft, that's Meta. They've invested almost $1 trillion into AI technologies. There's an awesome report by Axios. 95% of organizations found zero return. I'm going to scroll back up. There's a report by Axios. MIT study on AI profits rattle tech investors. This is from August of this year. Wall Street's big fear was validated by an MIT study indicating that 95% of organizations studied get zero return on their AI investments. So, are you going to replace your staff with this AI technology? Now, let's be clear. Monotonous work, it is actually useful for that. It can write up decent code. Like I do think there is an argument to be made there that there is some value from this, but whole companies trying to get rid of entry level positions to replace them with AI. Well, wait a minute. Can, like no one's talking about the elephant in the room. These technologies aren't infallible. It's not like they don't get things wrong. So wait a minute. You're going to replace your staff with a technology that can get stuff wrong and lies to you consistently, and all the different types of AI learning models consistently lies, gets things wrong, makes things up. You're going to replace your staff with that. Then you're going to need new staff to ensure that they didn't get any of the work wrong. So you're just creating double work. That's why no one's finding these technologies as instrumental as they initially claimed that they were going to be, as world shattering as they initially said that they were going to be. This push, just like with the metaverse, just like with NFTs, is a push by billionaires to live in their dystopian Blade Runner-esque world where you don't go to work, where you don't have a job, computers do everything, and you live inside this metaverse. But the reality is, this technology is not as advanced as they claim it is. This technology is not as uh, cutting edge as they claim that it is. And then I asked the question, and I really want you to maybe jump down in the comments, give me what is the usage case for this tech? What are we trying to accomplish? Like, what is the goal? If you say, well, this technology can summarize, you know, points that are on like a Wikipedia article, and it can summarize broad things. Okay. And if you subscribe to it, you get a nice legible summary. And that's the business model. Okay. I can get behind that. I actually understand that. That's logical. But they're taking it like 6 steps further than that. They're saying, no, 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 no. You can fire your entire entry level teams and replace them with AI to do their jobs. How? This thing, the technology doesn't even get it. Apple, notorious when they release, what was it, iOS, whatever, it couldn't even get text messages right. But this is going to replace my core entry level teams. I don't believe it. I'm skeptical. I am skeptical of this technology. And you know who else is skeptical of this technology? Let me see if I got this. I'm gonna pull this up because I think this is important. This is important because for everything that this AI nonsense is, it is baffling to me that this is where we are. Not only does the man who just met EJ Myung think this is a bubble, but so does Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos is here from Fortune. Jeff Bezos agrees with OpenAI Sam Altman. We're in an AI bubble. But Amazon's founder says the benefits will be gigantic. I will benefit from this. Jeff Bezos, will benefit from this bubble. This is insanity. And to position your country, and this is where I think it's dangerous, to position the company to be overly invested in AI. Because if you look at the US, the only reason why the US economy is even showing signs of life is because there is a gigantic AI bubble. A gigantic AI bubble. And now, Sam Altman is coming out with open arms saying, hey, come on. We need money for our project, for our, Project Stargazer, whatever. We need money. Please, Korea, invest in us. Please, Korea, make those chips for us. Which, again, I can see the logic with being, with making those chips. You know why I can see the logic? You know why I know why EJ Myung is running to greet Sam Altman? This is why. The Kospi tops 3,500 for the first time on chip-led rally. Closes at record high. This is why EJ Myung is chasing after Sam Altman. Even though Sam Altman thinks there's an AI bubble and Jeff Bezos think there's an AI bubble, he likes that the stock market keeps going up. And that is why he's willing to risk it. Because the amount of money that is invested into AI markets right now is absolutely insane. The amount of dollars that's being poured into this is absolutely unbelievable. And I think this is dangerous to get in at this point. At this point, we're 2 years, 3 years into this AI nonsense? And at this point, South Korea just now jumping on the bandwagon to get invested heavily. And I understand SK Hynix makes AI chips, which, there's some good there, there's some bad there. The AI, and again, AI inherently isn't a bad thing. What we're talking about here is the dangers of over leveraging your economy on this idea that AI is going to be the next thing to change the world. And let's be clear, these companies, when they invest in AI, they're not thinking about, oh, what's going to be best for my company? They're thinking about, how do I increase margins? Meaning, how do I get rid of the entry level workers at my company, replace them with an AI so that I don't have to pay them? That would be, in the long term, more detrimental to the Korean economy. More companies utilizing AI to eliminate jobs, stifling growth. Why would you be meeting with this guy? It doesn't make sense to me. And everyone's drinking the Kool-Aid, whether they're here, whether they're in the US, whether they're in Asia, it doesn't matter. Everyone's drinking the AI Kool-Aid, and I do not understand it. I don't get it, but I do. I do. Because they want to see more of this. And I think this is dangerous. Chasing a sky high stock market. All right. We'll see what our AI overlords tell us to do next. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked that video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And if you have a comment, go ahead and leave it down there in the comments. Thank you. See you in the next one.